சிவாஜி மன்னரின் நினைவு வீறு தந்திடும். சிவாஜி மன்னரின் நினைவு வீறு தந்திடும். சிவாஜி மன்னரின் நினைவு வீறு தந்திடும். அபார சக்தி வாய்ந்த வீர தன்னலத்தில் மூழ்கினர். அந்நிய கீழடிமையாகி அஞ்சி கெஞ்சி வாழ்ந்தனர். அச்சம் போக்கி சுதந்திரத்தின் வேட்டை தந்தனை. சிவாஜி மன்னரின் நினைவு வீறு தந்திடும். சிவாஜி மன்னரின் நினைவு வீறு தந்திடும். சிவாஜி மன்னரின் நினைவு வீறு தந்திடும். சிறுபடையால் பகைப்படையை புழுதியாக மாற்றினை. சிறுவரை மாவீரராக்கி சீரிய நாட்டெடுப்பினை. சீரிபாயும் ராமபாணமாக வந்தனை. சிவாஜி மன்னரின் நினைவு வீறு தந்திடும். சிவாஜி மன்னரின் நினைவு வீறு தந்திடும். சிவாஜி மன்னரின் நினைவு வீறு தந்திடும். இந்துவின் உறக்கம் நீக்கி மெய்யுணர்வளித்தனை. சொந்த அரசு நிறுவி காட்டி நெஞ்சு விம்ம வைத்தனை. தர்ம சக்தி வென்று தீரும் என்றுணர்த்தினை. சிவாஜி மன்னரின் நினைவு வீறு தந்திடும். சிவாஜி மன்னரின் நினைவு வீறு தந்திடும். வெற்றி வேலை போல தாங்கிடல் மலை தகர்த்தனை. வெற்றி வாகை சூடி வீர வாழ்வு வாழ்ந்தனை. சிவாஜி மன்னரின் நினைவு வீறு தந்திடும். 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 சிவாஜி மன்னரின் நினைவு வீறு தந்திடும்.
वेरी नाइस परफॉर्मेंस। देखिए, अनुकूल परिस्थितियों में तो सभी परफॉर्म करते हैं, तैयारी होती है, पर बात तो तब है जब बच्चे विपरीत परिस्थितियों में इतनी अच्छी तरह से परफॉर्म करें। एक जोरदार तालियां होनी चाहिए। थैंक यू मैम।
significance of satsang. Yadi satsangati rataha avishyasi bhavishyasi atha durjana samsarge padishyasi padishyasi. Akshay, the shloka is reciting. What does it mean? It speaks about the concept of satsang, a well-known spiritual and devotional practice. Satsang refers to the gathering of spiritually inclined individuals who come together to listen to a guru's teachings, engage in devotional singing, meditation, or other religious activities. Even serving those involved in such practices is considered as a part of satsang.
Yes, Akshara, that sounds familiar. My father once told me about this. He said that satsang helps people stay immersed in divine centered thoughts and actions, keeping them focused on their spiritual journey. When conducted properly, satsang generate powerful, cleansing and uplifting vibrations that not only elevate the participants but also sanctify the place where they are held.
Do you know any other slokas that further deepen our understanding of this?
Yes, I do. Asatam samkapankena yanmano malini-vratam tanme janilmali-bhutam sadhu sambandha-varina. Sat means truth and Sam means association. Satsang therefore is the company of truth itself. It can be practiced by being in the presence of enlightened beings like gurus or monks or by surroundings oneself with spiritually devoted individuals. True satsang aligns one with sattva, one of the three fundamental qualities of nature, that is prakriti, along with rajas and tamas. Kartika, that reminds me of a sloka that sheds more light on this. Pashya satsangamaharmyam Varsha Pashanayodataha Lohe cha jayate swarnam Yogat kacho maniyate. By engaging in satsang, one nurtures the quality of sattva while diminishing rajas and tamas. It then stabilizes the mind in divine thoughts and fosters inner purity essential for spiritual transformation. Satsang will be in the company of those who have realized the truth as well as those sincerely seeking it.
Absolutely, Amita. Satsang grants spiritual illumination and is a vital path to God's realization. Let me tell you a sloka that highlights its immense power. Dhuri karoti kumadim vimali karoti chetaschirantanamagam churki karoti bhuteshu kim chakarunam bahuli karoti sangasatan kim namangalam atanoti.
The influence of satsang is beyond words. Its spiritual vibrations and transformative energy profoundly impact the mind. It's one of the fastest and most effective ways to redirect a worldly person towards spiritually, helping to transform the samskaras and uplift their consciousness.
Indeed, the company we keep greatly influences us. Let me tell you a sloka. Kito bisumanas sangat arohati sadam shiraha ashma priyadi devatvam mahadbissu pratishtitaha.
Let me tell the essence of this sloka, Akshara. This sloka conveys that our devotion is kindled by association and conversing with devotees. Just like one flame ignites the other or horn catches fire from another spiritual presence. The human mind is highly receptive. When placed in negative company, it absorbs negativity. But in holy company, it acquires divine qualities. Satsang with noble souls is the best catalyst for developing viveka, which is discernment, and vairagya, which is detachment.
There is another sloka that expands the marvelous effects of satsang.
Kalpitameva sute sakamadukkamitameva dogdi chintamanischintitameva datte satahi sangas sakalam prasute.
I have known the meaning of that sloka before, Kartika. True satsang grants the aspirant inner spiritual strength to face life struggles, overcome temptations, control inner cravings, and fill our mind with positive thoughts. It is the greatest of all purifiers. There is nothing as elevating and blissful as satsang.
Do you know, Akshara, that media has turned the world into a global village, with people now spending more time with their tablets and phones rather than family and friends. Satsang is extremely important to combat the worldly maya or attraction and convert it into spiritual energy. Listening to satsang doesn't promise an instant change in one's innermost self, yet it offers a holistic change which is slow yet progressive and permanent in nature. Our souls get purified steadily by enlightening deeper knowledge.
वितरति पदमुच्चैः अल्पजल्पैकबाजा जननमरणकर्मा श्रान्तविश्रान्तिहेतुः त्रिजगतिमनुजानां दुर्लभः साधुसङ्गः. Yes, satsang is the roadmap to peace. Help us understand ourselves and help us overcome fear. So let us transform satsang from a hobby to a habit. Thank you.
Wonderful performance, students. And
श्लोक जो ग्रीष्म ऋतु पर उन्होंने लिखा है वो मुझे याद आ गया। शायद से रवेण मयूखैर अभितापितो वृषं विधयमानः पति तप्तपांसुभिः। एक वर्ड है, उसके बाद ससन्न मोह हरि मयूरस्य तले विशीदति। अर्थात ये कहा जाता है कि इतनी भीषण और प्रचंड गर्मी में जो जन्मजात दुश्मन है मोर और सांप, तो उस प्रचंड गर्मी में अपना पूरा वैर भाव जो है, जो दुश्मनी है, पूरी तरह से भूल जाते हैं। और सांप मयूर को देखता है, मोर को देखता है, और मोर सांप को देखता है, और दोनों गर्मी से बचना चाहते हैं। और ये सांप मयूर की छांव में आराम करना चाहता है। तो जैसे मैम ने कहा कि विपरीत परिस्थिति बच्चों ने इसलिए इतना अच्छा परफॉर्म किया है क्योंकि आप ऑडियंस ने उनका पूरा साथ दिया है। यही हम बच्चों को सिखाते हैं। अपनी प्रतिकूल परिस्थिति में तुम चाहे सफल बन जाओ, ये कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है क्योंकि हर चीज हम तुम्हें देते हैं, लेकिन विपरीत परिस्थिति में, विषम अवस्थाओं में सफल होना ही एक आदर्श मनुष्य का काम है। सो थैंक यू। मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा जब मैम ने ये बात कही, तो मुझे लगा कि मैं श्लोका बोल के आपको कुछ बोलना चाहूँ। हमें आज सचमुच गर्व हो रहा है कि हमारे बच्चों ने ये सिद्ध करके दिखा दिया। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, ma'am. Now I invite Vaishni for my
तमसः परस्तात् तमे विदित्वा मृत्युमेति न अन्यपन्था विद्यते यनाय। Respected audience present over here today. So the outset, this wonderful program by the girls Mogappair team, despite multiple challenges. And I think the program also had a lot of depth. The talk show, yes, there was a lot of up and down, but the number of shlokas they had memorized, number of meanings, and they had given out. The topic was importance of satsang, right? And also the two bhajans, one in Sanskrit, one in Tamil. And all this, you can do it. Just do it. Arush, can switch it off. So, in the confusion that was there as the various programs were going on, I picked up the last sentence of the talk show. Thus the last sentence. What is the last sentence? Those who said no, but others anyone? The last sentence.
Hobby be a habit.
Satsang should not be a hobby. Make it a habit. Right? I think that was a very important last summary, right, of the talk show. So before I proceed on, I'll possibly discuss one shloka with all of you. But overall, what's the need for these satsangs? Why do we conduct these satsangs on every Sunday? Right? What's the need for community praying? Right? That's something which we need to understand. Well, it's true that often, more often than not, if you look at the number of visits by families to temples, number of visits to, like satsang, etc., is going relatively down. Right? And both types of prayers are important. One is individual prayers, which is at home, which you do on an everyday basis. But also, it's about going to a spiritual place of worship, where we all come together. That's how even bonding happens. Right? Today, anyways, families are also all getting nuclearized, isn't it? All the families are getting more and more nuclearized. Right? So when we come for a sattvic activity together, we come pray together, we meditate together, we perform Agnihotra together, we also listen to some positive thoughts together, right? It generates positive vibrations. And that helps you in your everyday lives. It helps you take better decisions. So, thank you students, and thank you all the Acharyas for a wonderful program. I think one round of applause for all the Acharyas and the parents as well, who are present here today to encourage the children. We just give the message to the kids that make satsanga a habit rather than a hobby. Right? So, you also have satsang now going on in the Mogappair campus. I know how many are aware. On some of the Sundays, the dates I'm sure you must be getting. That's held only in Tamil. Since that's girls Mogappair, I guess most of you are staying in that part of the town. So that also makes it closer for you. At least make a resolve of once a month. Make a resolve of at least once a month. I think that is quite doable. Okay? So moving on. I think the screens have some issues, but we'll leave it there. I wish to discuss with you one nice shloka. And this shloka, some of you may have also heard. This shloka says, Satyam Bruyat, Priyam Bruyat, Ma Bruyat, Satyam Apriyam,
Priyam Jananatam Bruyat, Esha Dharma Sanatanaha.
So give a round of applause to students. So we'll discuss this shloka and its modern relevance. Right? So it says, Priyam Bruyat, Satyam Bruyat, Priyam Bruyat. So Satya means what? Simple, right? Truth. Now, no guesses on that. Bruyat means we should speak. We should speak. So Satyam Bruyat. We should speak the truth. Then it says Priyam Bruyat. We should speak it softly, kindly, right? In a nice manner. So Satyam Bruyat, Priyam Bruyat. Ma Bruyat, Ma means no. Ma means no, don't do something. Ma Bruyat, don't speak something. Satyam Apriyam. Satyam Apriyam. What does this mean? So when in Sanskrit, I'm sure you know that when there's an added, it becomes the reverse of it. So the first part said Satyam Bruyat, Priyam Bruyat. Say the truth, but say it in a right manner. Ma Bruyat, don't speak. Satyam Apriyam, don't speak truth, which is in a very harsh manner. Simple sentence, first one, right? Priyam Chana Andratam Bruyat. Also, don't speak something which could be soft and kind, but is the falsehood. And we'll take a few examples. Esha Dharma Sanatan. This is the Sanatan Dharma. So first of all, the word Dharma is different from the word religion. Let's understand that. Right? All the religions of the world, right? Whether be it Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Jainism, all these are of recent origins. Dharma is eternal. Dharma is called Sanatan. Leave the politics around it. Right? How people may interpret it. But Dharma is, it says, Esha Dharma Sanatanaha. This is the eternal Dharma. What is the eternal Dharma? Right? Speak the truth, but speak softly. Don't speak truth in a very harsh manner. Don't speak something softly, but which is falsehood. Right? This is the eternal dharma. And this dharma is applicable to all of us, irrespective of our religion, irrespective of our caste, irrespective of our gender, irrespective of the creed, irrespective of the race. Right? Dharma is applicable to each one of us. So, now we look at these three things. Satyam Bruyat, Priyam Bruyat. I think that's a pretty simple one. That we should speak something in a soft manner. Ma Bruyat Satyam Apriyam. So let's take an example of this. Right? As to when you can speak the truth, but it sounds very apriyam. It sounds very harsh. Right? So a typical example we take is, what is an example you can give for this? You all mentioned the shloka as well. An example of Satyam Apriyam. A simple example. So if someone is, say, blind, and you say, oh listen, you're blind. You say it on his face. Is it the truth? It is the truth, isn't it? Right? But we say it directly on his face, it sounds very cruel, very harsh. Sometimes people do body shaming, isn't it? To do body shaming, there's nothing but it could be the truth. But we say it it's nothing but it sounds extremely harsh. It hurts the other person. There is a Shastra saying, Ma Bruyat Satyam Apriyam. It's very clear on that. And the second line says, Satyam Chanandritam Bruyat. So many a times, right? So, you've heard the word psychophancy, right? What is psychophancy? Or what do you use the word to say maska? So what do you mean by that? You just go and you say something to the other person which is false. But you only say to make him happy. Right? Only to flatter him. Right? Only to, so all flattery. Right? There's nothing but Satyam, it's Amritam. It could be Priyam. It could be Priyam. But it is not the truth. Right? So these three aspects of dharma which relate to our speech is something which is important. So this doesn't mean that we need to understand how the world operates. Right? Somebody says, how are you doing? Even if you're not doing very well, you generally say, I'm okay. Isn't it? Right? You don't immediately come up with all your problems and challenges. Right? That's okay. That's fine. So we need to obviously understand this in the right perspective. So you need to definitely praise others. There's nothing wrong in that. Whatever you see good in others, you should definitely bring it up. But to bring it up in a matter of just simple flattery is something the Shastra say is not preferable. It is not required. So going back, the most important is that don't speak truth in a harsh manner. And generally, as we all know, that when we get angry, we tend to speak very harshly. And I'm sure you have heard about the story. Some of you may have heard about it, some of you possibly haven't. So there was this young boy who would get angry very, very often. And he would definitely blurt out, right? It was a youth, or let's take a youth, he would blurt out things that were absolutely not acceptable. So his father, he was wondering what to do. And the son would definitely sometimes feel after that I spoke very, very harshly. Right? He would also repent later. But he was just not able to control himself. It happens with us also sometimes, isn't it? So his father, he said, listen, let's do one thing. There was one big wall at the house, in their house. One big wall in their house. And he said that every time you get angry, right, I will leave one big hammer and one box of nails. So every time you get angry, you need to take one nail and hammer it into the wall. Right? So we may have heard about it. So first day, he got angry, say 5 times, and he hammered 5 nails into the wall. Little tough, isn't it? It's not like 5 nails, so you need to take some effort. Right? You need to hammer 5 nails into the wall. Next day, again 5 times, once again 5 nails. Then third day, once again 5 times, 5 nails. Then possibly came to 4 times, right? Another 4 nails. So every day, he would see how many times he spoke harshly, and he would hammer those number of nails in the wall. One day it came to 0. It came to 0. So he was quite happy about it. So he went to his father and said, listen, today I did not need to hammer even one nail into the wall, because I did not speak anything in a preempt manner. So the father was quite satisfied. He said, good, now I'll give one more homework. He said, what? He said, now every day you don't get angry, remove one nail from it. Every day you don't get angry, remove one nail from this wall. Right? So he said, okay, sounds alright. And so some days he would once again get angry, he would not remove anything. But slowly, took him about 1.5 months, and he did not get angry for multiple days, and every day he would remove one nail from the wall. So when all the nails were removed from the wall, right, he came to his father and said, I will remove all the nails. And then guess what did the father do? He showed him the wall. And how did the wall look? Right? The wall looked great? No, right? The wall looked, right, very, in a very, it was quite bad, because so many nails were driven in. Right? So remember, harsh words can be, the Shastras say, can be forgiven but not forgotten. Harsh words can be forgiven but not forgotten, isn't it? Right? So you need to keep this perspective in mind. But when we think about it, the Shastras also say one more nice shloka. It says, Purusho Bhavo Rajan Kritatam Satavadinaham Apriyasya Tutpatyasya Vakta Shrota Cha Durlabha. Right? What does this mean now? Because there is when you look at the first shloka, it says Satyam Bruyat, Priyam Bruyat, Ma Bruyat Satyam Apriyam, Priyam Chananatam Bruyat, Eshaha Dharma Sanatana. The second shloka, so in Shastras, remember Dharma is always complex. Dharma is complex because human relationships, right, are complex as well. So Dharma, it's difficult to define Dharma between, as I kept saying, between, it's not at 0% or 100%. There are multiple facets to Dharma. So this particular shloka is set in the context of Vidur. Remember who Vidur is in the Mahabharata? So the Mahabharata war is about to start, right? And Vidur was the advisor of the king Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra, as we know, was definitely in the wrong. He was blinded by moha. He was blinded by a sense of moha, right? And the war was about to start, and Vidur, being his key advisor, was sitting next to him, describing as to how the war unfolds at the battlefield. Right? Dhritarashtra was eager to know. And Vidur, even at that last minute, the war was about to start, but Vidur was still hoping against hope that if Dhritarashtra takes the right decision, the war can still be averted. Right? So Vidur also, he was trying to describe, okay, all the enemies all people have gathered, so and so has also joined, so and so has also joined, this is their position in the battlefield, right? As he was describing those specific details to Dhritarashtra, he would also in between give his perspective that, listen, you're doing adharma. You're doing adharma. Dhritarashtra heard 2-3 times, and then he got a little irritated. And told Vidur, your role is only to tell me as to what is going on out there. Stop giving me further advices. Right? Because he was finding that apriya. He was finding it apriya. Right? So Vidur at that point of says this beautiful shloka which you all just mentioned. Right? Purusho Bhavo Rajan Satatam Priyavadinaha Apriyasya vipathasya bhakta shrota cha durlabha. Says, my dear king, I understand that what I am telling you, you may not really like it. Apriyasya tu pathasya. Apriya. It is not the best thing you want to hear. Right? But remember that what I am telling you is the path of dharma. That is the right direction. Right? And in this world, it is very difficult to find both kinds of people. One who is willing to tell you something your deficiencies with the right perspective. And also it's difficult to find people who are willing to hear that. Right? So the first shloka, so don't think that the first shloka now we should never correct anyone. When teachers correct us, right, that can sound apriya, but it is pathasya. It is to help you be on the right path. Elders at home, right, they tell us something. It might sound a little irritating, but it is to help us be on the right path. Right? So when we advise someone with the right intentions, it's okay if it sounds a little apriya, right? But it is for the right intent. Okay? You're going in the train. And you meet a foreigner. You meet say someone from the US. And you start talking all deficiencies of this country in front of him. You start talking about all. There are challenges in this country? Yes or no? Yes. Right? You start talking about all deficiencies of this country in front of him. Just general chit chat. Right? Oh, this country is this way, there's only poverty here, everything is really bad, etc., etc., etc. Some of the deficiencies are correct. They are true. They exist. How do you look at it? How do you look at it? Is it right? Not right? So the way we can evaluate this is that is there any benefit by this? By you cribbing in front of a US citizen, right? He is not talking anything else about his country. But you are only bring out the deficiencies about your own country. Not that he can solve for it. Right? So possibly not required. So while it might be the truth, but it is still definitely not required at that point of time. So dharma is complex. We need to look at the right perspective and see as to how we can take it forward. So these two shlokas we covered. If you have one or two questions, we'll take and then we will close the session. Sorry, 9:45. I'll close the session. So thank you so much. Please to reflect on these kind of aspects, and also let's make satsanga habit rather than a habit. Thank you.